wrote a 7-play cycle called the Wakefield Plays. And it was first a trilogy of 3 3-act plays, and I gave them to Thornton Wilder, who was my friend and mentor, and to read. And he read them and was full of praise, but he said one thing that just changed the course of my writing. He said, of course, there isn't very much Wakefield in those plays. And what he meant, as the guy who created Grover's Corner, is that they really didn't have the dialect and the smell of small town. Anyway, after Wilder said what he said, I wrote a little 1-act play called Hopscotch that was set in my hometown. It was a very personal play, and I used the dialect and the accent and it was like, discovering dried mango or something. I just loved it. And so then I did another and another and another. Finally, I bought the little house in Gloucester, and I got caught up in the town, and it was just at this odd time. As I said, my dad was a truck driver. It was this odd time when working class life in America sort of disappeared. The fishing industry dried up. So I started to write more and more plays about the town, and also Wilder said to me, and it was very impressive, he said, you don't have to write about the world. If you can write about one little place and you get it right, it'll work for the world. Terrence McNally, Leonard Melfi, and I, years ago, wrote a Broadway triptych. We were best friends, and we wrote 3 interrelated 1-act plays, Morning, Noon, and Night. And the morning play at Spoleto that went to Paris with Depardieu was my morning play for Morning, Noon, and Night. Leonard had a very tough time, eventually leading to his death. He had a big alcohol problem. Leonard died. Terrence had a terrible lung cancer. We spent a day together, and I said, why don't we do a duet? We're down to a duet now, because when we work together, it gives us a good reason to be seeing each other. So we decided to do an evening called Off Season, and because he's incredibly involved in the Key West community. He's got a house there, and he spends a lot of time there. And I'm deeply involved in the Gloucester. Even though we both live in New York in the West Village, we spend a lot, and I used to spend a lot of time in Gloucester. Anyway, he wrote a play, I forget the name of it, set in a gay bed and breakfast in Key West in the middle of the summer, when it's just dead. And I wrote what is ostensibly the first act of Sins of the Mother, set on the docks in Gloucester, Massachusetts, in the dead of winter. And we did the 2 plays, first in Key West, and they loved Terrence's play, and they hated my play. And then we did the plays in Gloucester, and they loved my play, and I've never seen worse reviews than Terrence got for his play. It was awful. And so we decided that divorce was probably a very good idea. And I forgot about this 1-act play. And somebody mentioned it to me, and I went, oh yeah, and I pulled it out. We did a reading of it at the Actors Studio in the Playwrights Unit. And it was Horton Foote, Ulu Grossbar, Jules Pfeiffer. It was this really distinguished panel. We did a reading of the play, very good actors. And everybody said, Israel, you've got to this is a full-length play. You've got to finish the play. You've got to really write this play. Blah blah. So I said, oh, that's a great idea. I went home. 5 years later, I had no idea until I came up with the idea of the twin brother going back. I don't want to reveal what the play is about, but going back and had this idea of the same actor playing identical twins, with a real purpose. And then it kind of wrote itself.